What's up, fight fans? We just seen Terence Crawford completely dismantle Canelo in a 12-round fight and cement himself as one of the greats into boxing as of today, of this generation. Throughout the fight, it really did not look like Canelo had an answer for anything that Crawford was doing. He couldn't plant his feet. He couldn't wing no hooks. Terence Crawford was circling around him the whole fight. His defense was really, really good. And Canelo did have his moments, but anytime that he was building momentum, Terence Crawford would clinch, break it off, hit the good counter punches, and keep the fight going to what his pace wanted. I feel like in the beginning half of the fight, it was a little bit more toss-up, but as the fight went on, 6th round and past, you can definitely see Crawford landing more of his shots. He was building confidence, wanted to throw more, and the fight more going his way. And honestly, two judges had it 115, 113. I think that was completely just ridiculous. I think Crawford definitely won a lot more rounds than that. So very questionable on that part. But either way, nonetheless, Crawford got the W. And he really upset a lot of people thought. And even myself. I thought the weight was going to really matter and be a lot more significant than it really was in the fight. But Crawford even showed to be possibly even stronger in some clinch situations. And in the weigh-ins, that's when I really seen I'm like, Crawford looks good. He has abs. He doesn't look sloppy. And this was going to be a lot more interesting than I thought. And what a lot of people thought was the weight after 6th round and up is really what's going to be a factor. Once Canelo lands, how is he going to react? Terence Crawford's defense was completely immaculate throughout the fight. He had a game plan and executed it completely as he will. And as you've seen, Canelo really didn't have an answer for it. So now let's talk about where does each fighter go from here. For Canelo, you can definitely see the loss impacted him a lot more than he wanted it to. In the fights, it kind of seemed like he would just be fighting and then he would just walk off like, oh my gosh. He knew he was going to lose, and everything that he's seen, his legacy, was kind of slipping away from him as the fight progressed. And I'll be honest, I don't think Canelo's going to fight anybody significant 50-50 fights for possibly the rest of his career. I do like Canelo, but he has been ducking David Benavidez. He's definitely not going to fight any Bivol anytime soon. So where does he go from here? I think he's going to go take a small break. And honestly, he has not evolved his fighting style for a while. Ever since the Bivol fight, maybe even before that, he kind of had the same style. The same reason he lost that fight is the same reason he lost this fight. He never could really plant his feet. Once a moving fighter is onto him, he keeps trying to hit the arms. I don't know why he keeps trying to do that game plan. Terence Crawford even said something like he kept hitting his elbow. I have no idea what that game plan is about. But the problem with Canelo's style is he's not evolving at this rate. He kind of relies on his power, his will to bully, and if he cannot bully these fighters, he really does not have a second game plan in mind. Even in the William Skull fight, the fight before the Terence Crawford fight, although boring and although he did win, you really seen the problem with the movement. He didn't really throw as much. The fight wasn't really exciting. He wasn't really able to trap him as he could, and I'm 100% sure Terence Crawford took that into account coming into this fight. Judging from the post-fight conference or press, he didn't seem like he really wanted a rematch. We have the Terence Crawford rematch onto the table. We have a cherry-picked fighters. In terms of prize fighting, I do think Canelo is going to stay around. I don't think he's going to retire after this fight, but I do think he's not going to have any more 50-50 fights. I think we got possibly ranked contenders. We got the Terence Crawford is on the table, and then if he wants to bring big fights onto the table, he can get fighters from lower weight classes. But honestly, Canelo has no excuses this fight. Terence Crawford is an older fighter in 37, 38, I believe. Canelo is 33. Terence Crawford is coming up 2 weight classes, but really I would say 3 because he only fought one time at 154 from 147 in which he was. So he's went past 3 weight classes, and there's not much excuses Canelo can have towards losing this fight. And he didn't make any excuses. Shout out to him. Now onto Terence Crawford. Personally, as a fan, I wish he would just retire here. He's 37, 38, and we see a lot of fighters. They keep fighting, and then you see your favorite fighters end up eventually getting a loss, and they never know when to quit. Now, although he doesn't look his age, he doesn't move his age, and he doesn't really look like he's losing a step, how far are you going to take it? How far are you willing to push your legacy? How far are you willing to be great? He just did something very daring. How daring are you willing to push it? Is he going to fight ranked contenders of the 168 division and just defend his belt, which I highly doubt? Is he going to fight, the bivels of the division if one of them are willing to move down? Because I don't think he's going up to 170. If he does, 175, but if he does, that would be crazy. We got David Benavidez. Those fights are possibly on the table. We got the Canelo rematch, which I don't think will happen. And then, honestly, he has a lot more interesting matchups than Canelo, because I definitely think he can go down. He can fight Eubanks Jr. He can fight Conor Benn. Any of those champions from 154 to 160. And just keep claiming belts, even possibly go for undisputed at 160. We don't know. His coach did say that he is going to continue fighting, so he's not going to retire. We do have more fights from Terence Crawford, the new undisputed super middleweight champion, Terence Crawford. Amazing fight, and we'll see what's next from both of these fighters. Respect to both of these fighters. They went and put their heart out, and what these boxing fans do is somebody will get a loss and they completely turn on them. Let's not be those people. Let's continue good fights, good mega fights. We want the best of the best to fight, and if you just keep hating on them whenever they get a loss, we're not going to get that. I'm out, y'all. This is MMA Lifestyle. Have a good day.